Hi there. On the bench today, I've got another JCM-900. This is someone else's unit. It's not the other one that I did the other day, which is fine. This is someone else's unit. And what the problem with this is an intermittent popping and cracking sound, quite loud popping and cracking. I immediately thought the output valves could be faulty, or something to do with the bias being over biased, but when I put my bias probe in and tested it, the bias was around 34 milliamps, minus 34 milliamps, which is correct. So it's not to do with the bias. So I thought, right, really need to change these 4 output valves, as a matched lot, because they look quite worn, really. I've got one here. Yeah, I got one here. You see, it's sort of wearing a bit thin at the top there, like it's gassy. So these are 5 881s, Sovtex or 6L6 GCs. This definitely looks a bit on the dodgy side, and this one here is another one of them, but this looks okay. The getter looks okay, so I would say that other one was sort of worn out. So yeah, that's a possibility. But then what I did is I ran it with 2 valves in, the 2 inside valves in here, and put my probe on there, and it ran and ran and ran, and after about an hour and 20 minutes it started to pop badly and crack. I thought, oh dear, those valves look all right, so unless they're all gone. But anyway, I didn't know what to do, so I looked actually inside it, and I saw this before, this bodge here. Someone's replaced this cement resistor, I reckon. That's not the original one. These 4 are replaced, and someone stuck some sort of black resin on there to hold them in place, stop them from wriggling around. There's a resistor there as well, R30, at the end here, this one here, and you can see it's been soldered halfway down the lead, so it's terrible. This capacitor I don't think is original. So I thought, well, it could have something to do with it, because that this pot here is the bias pot. So these are 1 key resistors which are on the grids. So it could be any of these. These 2 are crucial. R26, R27 there. Crucial that the values are right. R27 is slightly out of tolerance, but I don't think that would cause that popping sound unless it's changing value when it heats up, because this happened after about an hour and 20 minutes. But then I looked a bit closer. These capacitors here aren't original. These are EPCOS, which are available in Brazil. They're not the original capacitors. The other thing I noticed, I don't think this is original as well. It's been stuck in with that black resin again. And look, there's a chip there in a socket. There's a chip there in a socket. So it's obviously been worked on extensively by someone who's not very good at fault finding. Well, then I looked over here at the output transformer. I don't know if you can see the state of that. I don't know what they've done with this, but you can see that there's a thin yellow wire coming out and going somewhere. It's completely been butchered. And I don't actually think that this is the original output transformer, because I've worked on one of these recently, and I remember when I put it on the bench like this upside down, it was uneven because the output transformer was smaller than the mains transformer. Also, if you look at the format of the mains transformer, which I think is original, it's completely different to the output transformer. So I reckon the output transformer has been replaced at some point and bodged up. So I don't know. I think this is probably a write-off, because there's so much I need to do, and because the the fault is very, very intermittent. What I would have to do to repair this is rebuild it, rebuild all the bias circuit, all these resistors which I don't know are right or wrong, correct all the very poor wiring, probably replace the bias pot, and these bias trim pots are very difficult to source here in Brazil. Yeah, need to replace all the bias components. Obviously I don't know whether these op amps are okay, because they could cause some sort of noise. I don't think so. Frankly, I think the problem could be with the output transformer. It's difficult to know really, something so intermittent. But as I say, I had the probe connected on one of these, and at the time it started popping, after an hour and a half, I looked at the probe, the meter, and it was showing, it was all over the place. It was going up as high as minus 50 millivolts, then it was falling down to 28, and going up again. It's all over the place. That's obviously indicates that there's some sort of problem with the bias circuitry. And when I see that sort of thing, it's possible it could be a resistor or it could be a capacitor. So I don't know. This is quite a challenge, seeing as I'm closing, well, seeing as I've closed my office down and I'm working now from my attic here in my house. I've only got a short amount of time before I have to go to England. I don't know whether I'm actually going to go middle of June as scheduled, or reschedule the flight to slightly later, because we got a few little problems here to sort out, personal problems. You know, as I've mentioned before in the videos, Brazil is absolutely terrible at the moment. What the government's doing here is awful, and the money that I brought over from England, my pension money, is at real risk here, and my property's at risk here as well. So it's pretty dire. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, but there we go. That's personal problems, but I might have to stay here slightly later than planned. But you know, the state of Brazil is quite bad, and I feel that I need to get out of here as soon as I can before everything goes AWOL. But I can see all this happening all over the world. In England it's not too great either at the moment, but in Brazil they're letting the prisoners out. Sometimes if someone commits murder, they won't serve life here. They might sentence them to life, but they may be out within a year or even a few months. It's nuts. People are getting knifed here. I know this is happening in London and the major cities in England as well, but they're also being shot, because it is actually illegal to own a gun here if you've got the licenses. You just go to Paraguay, buy a gun, and that's it. Smuggle it through, well, there's not really customs, to just drive straight out of Paraguay. If the police don't search your car, you know, you can get away from Paraguay with a automatic machine gun. It's pretty bad here in Brazil, so I don't know what we're going to do, but I'll keep you informed as to exactly when I'm coming. But at the moment the flight is scheduled for the 16th, which means I'll be in England on the 17th, and probably working a bit later, I would have thought. I'm not going to get a proper flat to rent out until the end of September, so it could be a while till I'm up and running again, but I'll let you know anyway what's happening. Thanks very much for watching, and if anyone watching this has had a similar problem with the bias going nuts and all over the place, please let me know, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. Thanks very much for watching.